And we are back. We just want to give another shout out of love to B.I.C. who just left the studio. You guys are off the chain. We love you so much, and I had a great time interviewing you guys. We have to do it the next time for the entire show. But right now we have Damon A.P. in the house.
Yeah.
And he's our he's the dual master around here. But he is we're gonna have him just to open up and share his worship experience with us. But first we want him to tell our listeners a little bit about him, who he is, what he does. And I told him he gonna have to talk today. So
yeah.
Mr. Damon A.P. in the house representing the rappers in this segment of the worship experience.
I'm from Brooklyn. You know, I gotta give Brooklyn a shout out every
from
time.
North Carolina.
Every time I get on. No, Brooklyn. I came from Brooklyn. I've been here for about 2 years now. But I was very adamant in being an atheist when I was in Brooklyn. I even had arguments with my mother before, going back and forth talking about how I couldn't believe. But once I came down here, my initial reason to come down here was for my little brother. But I ended up having an encounter with God, and it switched everything around in one night. So ever since then, you know, I've been able to rap, been able to make videos, everything that I've done, but I just decided to turn it all for God and for glorifying the kingdom from that day.
Going back to rapping, because we're going to touch on all this other stuff too. Because you were rapping prior to coming to Fort Myers.
Yeah.
You were rapping in New York.
Yeah.
How did all that start? And what were you rapping about?
Oh, Jesus. Before I got here, I really started rapping when I was living in Florida before I went to New York. I started rapping with my little brother. And I was probably about 11 years old, and then I didn't really take it that seriously. It was just something fun to do. Then when I got into middle school, you know, I used it as a way to make jokes about people. Like I would freestyle and just ride you like the whole time. And then once I got into high school, it was more freestyle. And then somebody just approached me and told me that they thought I was pretty good. So I kept rapping and tried to let my father listen to all the music, you know, that I was making. He said I was garbage. So it could have made me stop rapping, but it made me want to go harder. So I kept writing. And then one day he was just like, man, this is pretty good. So I was like, okay, yeah, I made it. But I had a group down there. Was me, 2 other guys, and we just were, you know, just basically picking it up. I was really just starting getting real serious right before I came here.
Okay. And what were the things that you were rapping about? You don't want to share?
Well,
we can talk about the BC rapping.
Okay, because I used to smoke or whatever, you know, I talked about stuff like that. But the one thing I kind of like, you know, even in switching to Christian rap, I never was like a gangster rapper. I never was like, oh yeah, I get all this money or whatever. I always was they called me kind of like a conscious rapper because I was real concerned about my lyrics. So I would be speaking about things. It would be, you know, at times positive things, but of course I was going to talk about my lifestyle at the same time. But I was never one to like. I didn't like the direction that rap was going with it, you know, all the just garbage.
Right, because you switched out one time, right? You switched out rapping. I know your style changed, and you ended up with the mohawk and the the.
See, but no, at that time I had given up on rap because rap was so bad, man. I only listened to like a few artists, and I was like, I need to find something else to listen to. So you kind of
went to a rock,
yeah.
Right?
And that helped me. That shaped me in the way I rap even now too. Just opens up your eyes to see its different styles
other
and
genres
ways
of music.
to do it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right now. So as far as you rapping now here and being in Fort Myers, who are some people that you've worked with in some events, or what is the one place that you've been invited to come and to rap that had the most impression on you?
Mount Olive. I've never been there. I didn't know a whole bunch of people there. It just, I don't know. I felt it was so many young people in there that it made me feel like that was like the most powerful time I was being used by God, you know. And I've been in bigger places, but that one just, I don't know, I just can't explain it. I just felt so much confidence in what I was saying and what I was doing. The people received it pretty well, so that was probably.
So pretty much like B.I.C.'s, you know, experience. I think across the board, when you know that God is giving you a message in your heart, and when you are doing what God told you to do, and you see the reception, you know, when you see all those young people on fire and they're receiving what God gave you to give to them, it's an experience that you can't explain.
Yeah.
Pretty much. All right. Okay, so what is the next thing that you're working on regarding rap, or what is the next thing that you want to step into?
Well, I'm doing films right now, short films, and I kind of went back and forth with somebody who I'm not gonna name about doing a certain type, but I have decided to go back in it with having counsel from some other people. But those will be coming out pretty soon. Actually, like the 19th is when everything will start being debuted as far as filming. I haven't started working on a mixtape because I want the sound quality to be really good, so I want to be able to be in a studio or whatever. So now I'm just doing individual songs and using those whenever I'm asked to go minister somewhere.
Okay. And you notice what he said, minister and not perform. I like that. Like that person that you were talking to that you won't name, she loves you and she picks up on stuff like that. Well, I'm going to do you just like I did B.I.C. because we know that the worship experience as a whole, most importantly, is your entire lifestyle. So as far as your lifestyle, what are you doing? What do you do to get equipped, to get prepared? Not even to minister, but to just to write. To be able to write what you put down and where it comes from. I know some of it comes from experience, but what is it when you're sitting down and writing? Where is that impartation? I don't want to say God, but coupled with what?
I've learned that some of my best music comes immediately after worship because I feel like right after worship you kind of have like the same eyes as God, so you see which areas He wants to address, what things He wants to talk about, and what problems He sees. But me, from being atheist, my message is always to people. I don't have a problem with making songs to build up the church, because I enjoy making those songs because it edifies them. But my heart goes so much out for the people that don't know Him because I didn't know Him. So it's like I try to find ways and how I can first make it so that they want to hear it. And you have to have a certain type of quality. Like I can't just be like, yeah, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna want to hear that. So I try to make it in a way that is, it sounds good, but it's the truth at the same time. So you find yourself, saying my lyrics or, humming the hook or something, and that's a seed being planted inside of you, and you don't even know about it. So I just let everything I do. I wanted to have like a seed planted inside of you, so that when the time comes, God has something to water.
Amen. That's what I'm talking about. Wow, that'll preach right there. Now, again, like with B.I.C., and you trying to live this life that's right, keeping your worship, tight. How is it on the female? Because you're single. You see, there was a laugh and a side. You have to wait for the video, and we can't have that edited. So how is that on the woman end? Because I know that when you're doing something for God, especially when you're single, it's hard when you're married, but when you're single, it's like it could be 50,000 distractions. Some people are coming out the woodwork, and you're like, wait a minute now.
Yeah. It is pretty hard, but it was harder at first until you start realizing that's what the enemy's gonna come at. I know that's most likely usually where he's always gonna come at for me, because when I was in the world, it was like a big flirt.
He was a hot man.
Yeah, so he always anytime, and actually I like that even happens, because it always lets me know that I'm doing the right thing. It'll be as soon as I'm the closest with God, or preparing to do something that I know is going to mean something to somebody, that He sends somebody. So I'm like, okay, thank you. You just gave me the signal that I'm on the right track. Because you wouldn't send anybody to me if I was doing the wrong thing. You'd be like, hey, sure,
I got you, right?
Exactly. So I think it's really just using wisdom. I try to build a friendship with any woman that I talk to, and then I kind of check you out. Like, I want to make sure where your head is at, what you're talking about. And, I have talked to a couple of girls before, but I usually just... it gets cut off pretty fast, because they say what's in your heart is gonna come out your mouth, and it always slips out their mouth. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll talk to you later, and never call them back. So
you're basically saying you have a standard.
Yes, it is a standard, because I want you. What I'm looking at is that if I'm going to talk to you, I have plans. If I really want to talk to you, I have plans of marrying you, and you have to be strong in God, because I know that I'm doing the work of God, and I know I'm gonna get attacked all the time. So I would need somebody behind me that's gonna pray for me or help me out, or I'm saying, when I'm down, be able to lift me up and know how to speak life into me, not just, oh, it's going to be okay, and walk away. Like, you have to understand the spiritual things attached to it as well.
Mm-hmm. Amen. All this preaching up in him. That's what I'm talking about. Man, wow. Okay. Well, definitely, I want you to share with me your worship experience, the one time. I'm sure we all have several, but what is the one, or one of the ones that really speak to your heart?
The most powerful one is the reason why I'm at Fresh Wind right now. I left my old church. I went to Fresh One Ministries with Pastor Jeff Frieda, and I was there, I think, 2 services, and I think the 3rd service, it was just the deepest worship I've ever had, like, in my life. Like, I felt like, I know the music was playing, I know people were singing, but I don't remember hearing any music. I don't remember hearing anybody or seeing anybody next to me. But I knew, I was shouting and screaming in there and shaking and stuff. And then I know afterward, I was just like, dang, God, you was embarrassing me. For real, but it felt so good. Like, I never had anything like that. It's just, I don't know. You just feel like when you really enter, and I think that's, what they talk about when they say you get behind the veil, because that's what it felt like. It was really nobody in the room but me and him, and I could even feel his presence with me, and his presence was to start moving, and I would start pleading with him, like, no, don't leave, then to come back, like, he'd smack me, like, here you go, you wanted that? But that's the most powerful time I've ever had. Fresh One Ministries, that's where you should go. We know how to worship over there.
That was a quick plug.
You already know.
Yes. Well, we just enjoy everything that you're doing. Definitely the life that you're leading for God, and your expectations, your standards, the fact that you are no longer an atheist, but you've stepped on to the other side, and we definitely know that there's going to be some great things coming for you. Now, as far as rapping, what's the next project for rap? What's the next project for film? The next big thing?
Well, the next big thing for rap.
Because if you're looking for people, this is a great opportunity to
right,
shout out.
You're right. For rap, really, it won't be any major projects probably until around January. My birthday, January 26th. Anybody who want to give me a present. But film is about to start kicking off the most. The 19th, I'm gonna put out my first. No, the 19th, I'll put out my first comedy skit. What is that? The 20th, I'm gonna put out my second short film actually, and then I want to have a play through Fresh Sound. I mean, not Fresh Sound. What I'm talking about. Fresh Expressions, the first Sunday of August. So we're jumping more into that area, and if anybody is interested in acting or just filming, anything that has to do with filming, acting, anything like that, you can definitely contact me. You can hit me up at Damon Akeem at AOL.com.
Spell Akeem. Some people can't spell.
Akeem. Damon Akeem at AOL.com, because I'm really trying to do a lot of big things in this area, and then take it outside of this area once we begin to grow more. But definitely, I need people who have a heart after God first, and have a heart to do this work with me.
Amen. Well, we want to thank you on behalf of myself and my teammates, Angie B and Miss Chalabella, for coming in and sitting down with us. We hope that you guys enjoyed B.I.C and Damon AP. Look for great things happening with these young men of God. Thank you for tuning in.
Don't believe that, do you? Well, let me give Matthew chapter 7 right to you. Hit verse 22. Did you read that? Do you understand the plan he's got made for you? Sin ran it all and we ran with it, dog. Jesus died for that. We still can't get it. Go preach to all, you still don't live it. Church folk, the worst hypocritical cynics. That type of mindset meant for the clinic.